What's up, guys? I hope you can hear me okay and see me. There we go. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Oh, fuck. I just realized I changed something here that will impact the other side, but that's okay. I hope everybody's doing well today. Tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had. I actually don't know if I can wear headphones the whole time. I'm trying this out to make the audio better, but I don't know why my little tiny baby ears just can't handle it. They just can't handle being covered up all the time. I just pushed one off and now it's a little bit better. So Sheena, I saw that. Oh, thank you for the reminder. So folks, if you're just getting here, please clock in for your shift by hitting the like button. Very Cherry's here, Daylight's here, Courtney's here, Sashina's here, Jonathan Hart, Beverly Bradford, Vicky, Loud Elvis, Courtney, of course, Grammy Rita, I saw there, Lisa Figueroa, Melanie, I saw that you're just going to be lurking today, sending good vibes to you. Let us know if you want to talk. Um, did I miss anybody else? I probably did, and I apologize, my friends. But I did get a letter from Larry Beaver today. So I think, hi, Mayor. I think we'll read that to start. If any of you are new here and you're like, who the fuck is Larry Beaver? Larry Beaver is a former employee. I don't know what to say. Let's just read what he says. You might understand. He was a former assistant on the show, I guess you could say. And yeah, let's see here. So I got this email today. It literally says location, the dam, date, Chomp-tember 3rd, 2023. And it's addressed to the KCC chat in Humansville. And it says, greetings from the dam. I hope this letter floats downstream and finds you all in one piece. My name is Larry Beaver, and I reckon you might have heard of my recent escapades. You see, I've been in a bit of a sticky situation lately, and I owe all of you a big apology. It all began when I developed an unhealthy obsession with wood and wood-related stuff. I couldn't resist the temptation to gnaw and chomp on anything wooden that came my way. It got so bad that I was missing the community's live streams because I was too busy indulging in my wood cravings. So I took a long, hard look at myself in the river's reflection, and I realized that I needed some serious help. That's when I decided to check into a special beaver rehab program. It's been tough, let me tell you. They've got me working on breaking this wood addiction one tooth at a time. But the road to recovery is longer than a mighty river, and I've realized I need more time in rehab to truly kick this habit. During my stay in rehab, I've also been lucky enough to find some work with the guys in the truck, which might sound counterproductive, but it's been a positive way for me to channel my wood cravings and keep busy. Now, I want to extend my deepest apologies to all of you in the KCC chat community for messing up those live streams. I knew what my job was. I knew I needed to be the beaver buffer dam, and I failed often. I didn't mean to cause any disruptions or inconvenience, and I regret my actions. I know how important those live streams are for our community, and I let you all down. I want to thank you all for your patience and support during this challenging time. Your encouragement and understanding mean a lot to this humble beaver, and it's been a boy for me during my journey to recovery. As for when I'll be back in Canada and in the kitchen and able to join the live streams again, I can't give you an exact date, but please know that I'm doing my best to stay on the right path and eventually return as a better, wood craving free Larry Beaver. Thank you again for your kindness and support, and I look forward to the day when I can once again be part of the KCC chat community, paddle and tail intact. Yours in the spirit of gnawing through life's challenges. F in the chat forever, Larry Beaver. Love it. Thank you, Larry. Like, what a lovely email that I got from Larry today. Really brightened my day. I know it's tough for him, what he's doing. F in the chat for Larry. F in the chat for Larry. We do have some court to watch. Guys, this is our Sunday court watchers. I don't call it anonymous because we're not anonymous, but this is our Sunday court watching meeting where we come together and recognize that we probably all have a bit of a problem, and it's okay. Uh, Grammy Rita says, I have a friend, Sally Skunk, who's truly looking for a law carrier, a career. I'm thinking she was hoping she could get an interview. Oh my goodness. Oh, people vying for Larry's job. Uh, Sashina, you just sent me a link that Larry sent you. Well, let me check that before I get started clicking on other stuff. Um, is it the Chat GPT one? So yesterday we did a word game, guys. It was really fun. We had a blast. And we did 11 rounds of our word game. I actually still have the papers here. So our words, I'll list them off quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and read the the paragraph that Sashina got from it. Okay, so our first, we have cloth, relay, glaze, flint, kiosk, curry, spoon, green, bully, range, and hutch. Now, bully, I think, is mainly because of KLF. KLF. No, I'm just joking. So, Sashina has plugged that Wordle words into the ChatGPT. Is that all you did, Sashina? You just typed those words in? Because I also did this, but I gave it a little bit more instruction. So, curry does sound good for dinner, by the way. That's a great dinner. I love curry. Anyway, so Sashina has written here. Let's see what it says. I'm reading this for the first time, so don't fuck me over, Sashina. I'm just joking. Also, I linked your channel and T-Rex's channel on the channel today. You should see it there now. It says, in the bustling market, nestled beside the curry kiosk, a hutch displayed an array of, a hutch displayed an array of exquisite handcrafted pottery. The vibrant green glaze on the ceramic pieces caught the eye of anyone passing by. As I approached the hutch, a friendly vendor explained how each unique item was made, showcasing a range of bowls, plates, and even a stunning flint vase. I couldn't resist purchasing a delicate spoon with an intricate design etched into its handle, a true testament to the craftsmanship found within this charming little corner of the market. As I left with my purchase, carefully wrapped in a cloth, I couldn't help but admire the artistry and dedication of the artisans behind these beautiful creations. Now, did they get all of our words? I didn't get bullied. I did not get bullied at all in that paragraph. I'm feeling bullied about not being bullied. No, seriously, though, I also did the same thing, Sashina. Hold on, let me just grab it before we start because we may as well. I did the same. I don't know if we use the same. Oh, thank you, Vicky. I've been told that that voice that I use there, which I would call my reading out loud voice, is fake as fuck. I don't know why, but KT, welcome. Okay. It's just pulling up here because I asked it to send me, I asked it to use this to, and I'm going to give you guys the first one that came out, okay? And it's from YouTube Daddy to me, okay? All that I gave the Chat GPT API was write a short letter to KCC from YouTube Daddy that includes the following 11 words somehow. And I listed the words. Okay. And so what we got from that is, Dear KCC, I hope this letter finds you well. It's been quite some time since we last connected, and I wanted to share some thoughts with you. Life has been a colorful journey, akin to a vibrant piece of cloth woven with various threads of experiences. Each day, it's like a relay race where I pass the baton of challenges and triumphs. The challenges have sharpened my determination, like a flint striking against the stone of adversity, igniting my inner fire. Recently, I visited a charming little kiosk in the heart of the city. They served the most exquisite curry, a delightful blend of spices that left my taste buds dancing. The owner, a friendly soul, handed me a spoon with a glaze of kindness in their eyes, and it reminded me of the simple joys in life, the green of nature, and the warmth of human connection. In this world, we encounter various characters, some acting like bullies in our life's play, yet they too have their stories. Just like the wide range of emotions we experience, it's essential to find the balance between standing up for ourselves and extending empathy. As I sit in my cozy hutch, reminiscing about life's ups and downs, I realize that it's all a part of the grand tapestry. And in this tapestry, you hold a special place. Let's reconnect soon and share our stories over a warm meal. Wishing you all the best, KCC, YouTube Daddy. Now, I think it is pretty fucking rich of YouTube Daddy to waltz in here talking about the adversities of life after he's fucking demonetized me. Seriously. How fucking ridiculous. Aw, Vicky, you're so sweet. I'm glad you like my reading voice. I've worked hard on that. Oftentimes in school, I'll say this. When I was in school a lot, I interrupted a lot. And I like to read though as well. And so I would often try and like negotiate with my teachers. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll shut up." Or how about I read aloud from book to the class? And you can just sit and relax. And a lot of teachers are like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." We have not done our med check yet, but that's a great time for it, KT. Let's do a med check, guys. That means if you take meds, go ahead and take them. Thinking about taking them, check them out, find them, do whatever you need to do. If you don't take meds, come down to the chat. Let us know what that's like. We don't know that. We don't know what that's like. Okay. Also, Sashina, Mayor, that's funny. Uh, Read one of your technical repair manuals to make it sound sexy. I had a job once. I've had a million jobs, but one of the jobs I had once was executive. Oh, Lisa, that's right. I was wondering about you. Good. You should probably take a break until tomorrow and then you can redo more. But I'm glad you started low and slow. But anyways, I worked at this engineering place as an executive assistant. And Courtney, that's another story. Let's just say that. But I've worked at it as an executive assistant, and this was related to something. Oh, the fancy technical repair manuals. Okay, so I remember when I started working there, I didn't realize like quite what they did. They were software engineers. They had created a program, and what blew my mind was there was a woman who worked there, and her entire full-time job was writing the manual for this software, like updating it, doing the fucking user manual, like all year, pardon me, all year long, the same product, you know? Like, it was shocking to me. I was like, are they making that much? Like, new stuff? Are you fixing problems with the old man? I don't understand why. But I learned they are adding all the time. Like, there was like 8 or 10 different software engineers working on this software all the time. And it had 3 different streams. So in reality, each sort of command meant 3 different things for whatever application you might be using the software for. Um, I will also give a shout out to that job because they were awesome with certain things. One of them being how they treat their employees. I'll just say that they were great. And they would often, or every year they gave us this athletic fund where we could sign up for anything we wanted athletic. You could buy new runners, you could put it towards a yoga class, you could do whatever you want, whatever you want. And they weren't really sticky about it. They were just like, and I think they matched it, something like that. I don't know. Sashina, you sent me a link? Okay. Last link we'll look at. Oh, I might have closed everything already. Let's just see. Yeah. Okay, we're in luck. I'll look at one last link. Oh, look at that. I'll look at one last link. And that is there music in it, Sashina? Because you know me, I'm trying real hard not to anger YouTube Daddy. Oh my God, this is so cute. Whose is this? I'm gonna mute it anyways, just to be safe. I'm gonna mute it. Also, hold on. We got to give these people their credit where credit's due. So this is from the. I'm gonna hold on. Oh my God, hold on. I'll do it on screen so I can prove it. So this looks like it comes from the Oregon Beavers. What does it come from? Oregon Zoo. I'm gonna give them a like. First of all, I want y'all to get in the habit of this. Let's like things before we watch them. If you don't like it, go back and unlike it. Okay. But I think we should just standardize the liking. Um, so also, well, they have 153 subscribers. Maybe they're doing better than I am with my 270. Woo! Is it crackly when I'm talking now, even when there's no audio there? Courtney wishes she could swim into a beaver dam and explore it. I don't know if that's a good idea. What is he eating? Is that pineapple? Hmm. We may have I don't know why it crackles when the video's playing and I'm talking. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was cute. Ah, I clicked a button. Oh my God, I'm using a different mouse and I clicked a button. I don't know what to do. Give me 1 second. Hi, T-Rex. Stream was paused for 1 minute while I fucking got some shit together, okay, dude? Is that gonna work, the chat down there like that? What do we think? Can you guys see that? I can see it. We're doing good. Okay. Let's get this playing. I'm going to shut up for a little while. We'll get it streaming. This is a preliminary hearing. Then we're going to go into some bond hearings, and then we're going to go from there. Okay?
Okay, we are back streaming live on YouTube. I'm calling the state of Georgia versus Westland Garcia. Warrant number 2023WA13559. There at the jail, if you're a Westland Garcia, just wave at me to confirm that's you.
Okay, so you guys know that I don't do any homework. So this has already been played on some other channels, I'm guessing. Okay, well, he looks like he has Christmas hair, green and red. Let's learn together. Let's figure it out together. Also, you guys know, I think it's pretty obvious where I spend my time on the internet. With y'all mostly, and this traveling chat family that goes around. So do forgive me. Am I in for a treat? This is great. Wow, how do I pick them like this? Like, what? How does that happen? Watching beaver videos, yeah. making, watching, all the good stuff, Sashina. Great reminder though, guys. Please click on the link tree at the top of the chat. Check out the different links that I have. There's some fun ones, there's some adult ones. There's a reason YouTube Daddy won't talk to me anymore.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, can you hear me? Okay, can you wave at me? Just confirm you're Wesleyan Garcia. Okay, thank you, sir. You are charged with armed robbery. Representing the state is Miss Freeman, and representing Mr. Garcia is Miss Porter. And Miss Freeman, you can call your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Porter, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about provided in the matter of state of Georgia versus Wesleyan Garcia will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can lower your
Yes,
hand.
ma'am, I do.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
I'm going to be Officer Porter, badge number 207. I'm employed with the city of Riverdale by Riverdale PD.
How long have you been with the Riverdale Police Department?
It'll be going on 2 years.
Were you working with the Riverdale Police Department on August 5th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
On that particular day, were you dispatched to 558 Shadow Moon Drive in Riverdale, Georgia for a theft or an armed robbery call?
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly is at that location?
It's going to be a residential home, ma'am.
Was this the residence of Eric Bodie or Body?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that
Everybody, yeah, rock your body. Sorry, I'm gonna listen. I know we have to pay attention to this. We're gonna listen.
the alleged victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived at Mr. Body's address, what did Mr. Body tell you that happened?
Okay, so I was dispatched to 558 Shadowmore Drive in Riverdale at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon. Once arriving on scene, I spoke with the complainant, Mr. Body. Mr. Body stated that he tried to sell an ATV four-wheeler, blue in color, to the defendant, Mr. Garcia, and another juvenile. At that time, Mr. Body said they agreed to pay him $300 for the said ATV. He said they went to pay the
I'm sorry, $300 for the ATV? No. That seems a little cheap. That seems a little cheap. Right? A four-wheel ATV as opposed to a three or two-wheel ATV, Sashina. I don't know how many wheels you usually get on your ATVs, but they usually worth at least more than $100 a wheel. So this is not even a $300. This is $300. You're getting a whole wheel for free.
transaction through Cash App, at which time that transaction declined and he looked down at his phone. Mr. Body then stated as he looked back up, Mr. Garcia had a black and silver handgun pointed at him while his co-defendant loaded it into the back of his pickup truck, and they told him not to move and pulled off with his four-wheeler.
Was Mr. Body able to give you a description of the individuals?
Yes, ma'am. So Mr. Body was able to give us a description of both males. He said it was the Hispanic male that was in possession of the firearm pointed at him, while the black male loaded onto the back of the pickup truck. He was also able to give us a description of the pickup truck, which they loaded it into, at which time we were able, myself and Officer Hall, were able to use our devices to get onto the flock camera system.
Devices? What kind of devices is he using?
And track that vehicle's direction of travel, at which time I was able to get the license plate off the vehicle, get the register's owner's name, which would be Mr. Garcia's father. And I spoke to Mr. Garcia on the phone who advised that four-wheeler was in his son's possession, and he would bring his son plus the other
Mikey, welcome. Credence and Mikey is here. Now, you might know a little something about four-wheelers. Are you too north for that, or is that south enough for you to know about four-wheelers? Is $300 not a pretty good deal for that? Seems like a good deal to me. I don't know. You guys know, please subscribe to Credence and Mikey, one of my favorite channels out there. I'll be going to Florida for the meetup come the end of this month. I'm very excited. So please check them out. They're linked on the channel. You know that. You know that already. Sounds like a very small or a very old one, Mayor. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. My sister and her boyfriend have like one of those side-by-sides, I think they call them. But that's like thousands of dollars. I don't understand. Sounds stolen to me.
defendant back to the location with the ATV.
Is that what happened, Officer Porter?
Yes, ma'am.
How long was it before it was returned?
We were able to get him to return in approximately 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes.
Were you able to locate the firearm that Mr. Garcia used?
No, ma'am.
Did Mr. Garcia provide any statements about what happened?
Yes, ma'am. In return, Mr. Garcia stated that they came to purchase the four-wheeler, but his story was flipped to where he said Mr. Body pulled out a firearm on them and they just pulled off because they were scared.
Were there any other witnesses there that you
No,
were
ma'am.
able to talk to?
No, ma'am.
Was there any type of video surveillance or footage that you were able to review?
No, ma'am. We did knock on the doors because we seen some of the neighbors had ring door footage there, but none of the camera angles were pointed at the direction of 558 Shadow Moore.
The juvenile who was present, was that Mr. McNaughton?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he provide a statement about what happened?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, he also stated that Mr. Body pulled out a firearm on them, and that's why they pulled off. He also stated that he arranged to make the Cash App payment, and then the payment did not go through, and he was scared that Mr. Body was going to know where he was, so he changed his Cash App name on the app.
So we don't have Cash App in Canada. I've talked about this before, but we have definitely seen cases before where people try and contact people via Cash App when they have no contact orders in place or when they've been asked not to. I think that's such an interesting way of harassing somebody by like sending them money. It's like, oh, God. It is hard to ignore. Better be more than a fucking dollar, right? Let's continue to hear where this is going. He looks, again, a bit like a Christmas tree. I swear to God, his hair looked green and then red on top. But I don't know.
When Mr. Garcia provided, I guess, his story about what happened, was he able to explain why he had Mr. Body's ATV?
No, ma'am.
So we're clear, officer, Mr. Body did not give Mr. Garcia or the juvenile permission to take his ATV.
Oh, yay! Lisa's here. Iowa Backyard Cam. You guys, that's another channel I'm going to have to add to the channel to check out. Okay, I don't know if Lisa has literally like, do you have animals that you stock up and get ready to put on the camera? Mikey always complains that he doesn't see anything. I have never once been to the Backyard Cam and not seen a critter. It's like, yeah, we used to call it sandbagging in car sales. It's Iowa Backyard Cam. but I think her name is Lisa. Maybe I'm being presumptuous. But anyways, yeah, when we worked in car sales, you would call it sandbagging, where you like hold deals that you know are going to go through until the weekend, and then you can because you get lunch on Saturdays. If you get enough sales by like 11 o'clock, you get lunch for the whole staff on Saturdays. So the managers were smart. They always wanted us to get lunch. So they would sandbag enough deals so that we would get lunch every Saturday. And I feel like maybe, Lisa, you're sandbagging the animals a little bit. Is that what you're doing? Or are you just putting out really good food for them so they come and visit? It's lovely to watch. I really enjoy it. I will link it on the channel. I linked Sashina and T-Rex Trucking today on the channel. So please check them out as well, guys. They are, I really enjoy having people on that show us their passions in life. So let's continue listening to this. Also, I would like to say, I feel like that judge uses that headset when he frickin' plays Call of Duty in the evenings, which I think he pretty much does. A Hundy P. They like KT Birdseed, Iowa. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I love it anyways. It's very relaxing. I pop in the morning usually. I've got the music going, and there's literally always critters. That weird Matt guy, you're cocking in. Thank you so much. There it is. Iowa golfer Lisa, not a vampire. Dog squad mom, Iowa backyard cam. Thank you, Mikey. I'll remember that for next time. Totally. Not.
B.
That is correct.
Oh, hold on. Katie's daughter needs us to know that she is pooping. Katie's daughter is pooping right now, guys. Please note that. Please note. Katie, noted. Thank you.
Did all this happen in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, Ms. Porter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Porter, couple of quick questions.
Okay, first quick question. Are y'all related? We have Brandy Porter with a Y, not an I. That's a different Brandy. We all know a Brandy with an I. And then Officer Porter over here. Always the judge generally says, like, no relation, just for the record. You think they're cousins? I don't know. I'm weirded out by her, like, sunglasses placement in her car. It's weird.
Questions. Mr. McNaughton is a juvenile.
Also, is she using a white lip liner? Okay. You can notice like the white liner around her lips. I'm being honest. Like, is that white lip liner? I don't use lip liner. One time this lady, beautiful woman, still remember her. She looked at me, she goes, "You'll never need lip liner, girl. You've got great lips." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." And now I understand because I do have like natural lip liner, but I mean, white might be sort of cool, I guess. Or maybe she was saving me a hassle because I don't know how to put on makeup. And she was like, "No, definitely don't. No, you don't need lip liner. Not at all." um, Although I am digging the sort of pink vibes. I have been on a Barbie kick lately. You guys know that. Dance the night away.
Juvenile, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe he's 16 years old. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you say that he's a relatively small young man?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, Ms. Porter, you're mute.
So,
Okay, good.
the 200 ATV and onto the bed of a truck.
I'm sorry. You cut out for a minute. Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. So Mr. Body's story is that Mr. McNaughton, who you agree is a relatively small young man, picked up a ATV and put it onto the bed of a truck by himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you?
Okay, so Sheena, that's interesting to me. Very interesting. You're telling me that Credence and Mikey videos are okay, the lives, not the premieres, but the lives via your work firewall. But my lives are restricted. But my lives are restricted because I don't have anything else. You're saying not the lives. The lives are okay, but are my lives okay? Sorry, we're like sussing this out right now. I need to know what school board has fucking restricted me on purpose. Vids after the fact are all okay, which again doesn't make any sense. The sheer volume of Mikey's videos confuses me that, yeah, test your, but don't get in trouble, Sashina. T-Rex, don't worry about it. This dress is a trooper. This dress gets me through a lot, and it did work in Houston. My boobs are restricted. There's a little something going on here. Or mismanaged.
You see the ATV?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would it be fair to say that the ATV probably weighs 200-300 pounds?
I can't make that assumption, ma'am.
Okay, do you know how much an ATV weighs?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever tried to pick up an ATV?
Yes, ma'am.
Objection, Judge, it's not relevant.
Your Honor, it's relevant because they're saying that he stole it, and the way that they stole it is that he picked it up by himself and placed it onto the bed of a truck. So I'm trying to determine if a young man, small in stature, could in fact have picked up an ATV off the ground by himself.
Okay.
Not at this stage.
I think the officer has testified he doesn't know how much it would weigh. So so you can kind of move on that.
Thank you, Your Honor. You never found a gun on either of the defendants, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Because they had fled the.
Okay. Did you ever ask, after speaking with both of the defendants, whose story appears to have been the same, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And their story is that they did not have a gun, but Mr. Body, in fact, had a gun. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever ask Mr. Body if he, in fact, had a firearm?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he have a firearm?
No, he stated he did not, ma'am.
Okay. Did you, in fact, see the declined Cash App transaction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it is clear that the kids did, in fact, attempt to Cash App Mr. Body. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ever ask Mr. Body if his Cash App was flagged?
No, ma'am.
Can somebody explain to me on Cash App, you can decline money? Why did anybody do that? But you can, what? I don't understand. So in Canada, we don't have that. I tried to get it. We can't get it. But so like somebody sends you money and you can literally say yes or no. Yes, I'll take it, or no, I won't. What's playing on my internal jukebox, that Weird Mac Guy? It's definitely that same song from the Barbie movie right now. Sometimes I mute y'all so that you can still hear it, but you can't hear me, and I say listen to music. That's how much I miss music. And you can always check on the Music of the Night Discord stream. But so, can somebody tell me about Cash App? Oh, listen to what the officer says about Cash App. It explains it. Okay, there we go. Well, look at me. Look at me just learning.
Okay.
Yeah. So from my experience of the decline transaction that went through, it's common for people to send a transaction but leave their phone on airplane mode so the payment does not go through.
Okay. But you don't know that that's what happened in this case, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Mr. Body says that he contacted Mr. Garcia's father. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
You contacted Mr. Garcia's father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you asked Mr. Garcia to come back, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And they did in fact come back, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they
After
weren't
Mr. After Mr. Garcia had to make his son come back.
were you there during that conversation?
No, ma'am. I was on the phone with him.
Okay, so Mr. Garcia brought his son back, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you said he had to make his son come back, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible his son was scared because Mr. Body had pulled a gun on
I'm
him?
going to object that speculation.
Sustained.
Did Mr. Body,
Courtney, where's the travel warning from Canada? I should be getting these warnings. I'm traveling from Canada. Is there really a travel warning to Florida? God damn.
ever say that he followed the boys at
I'm
all
looking it up
after
now.
they left?
Yes, ma'am. He said when they pulled off in the truck after they got halfway down the block, he ran after the truck to see in which direction they were traveling.
Okay, and then what did he do after that?
He came back to his residence and called 911.
Okay. So it's his story that after these young men pulled a gun on him, he then ran after their truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was there ever a conversation about about the boys just paying Mr. Garcia, I'm sorry, Mr. Body, once the father brought him back?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did Mr. Garcia ever indicate that it was his?
Courtney, are you talking about this LGBTQ warning that they've put out? Global Affairs Department did not specify which states, but is advising travelers to check the local laws for their destination before traveling. I'm too much of a slut to go to Florida? What? That's so sad. It says here, outside Canada, laws and customs related to sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics can be very different from those in Canada. And as a result, Canadians could face certain barriers and risks when they travel outside Canada. Listen, that happens every time I travel with ropes and a fucking paddle. They're always pissed off, freaking out. I never listen to the rules anyways, Courtney. I'll be there regardless.
Intention to steal this ATV?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did he indicate that it was his intention to purchase the ATV?
Yes, ma'am.
And he told you, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Cash App failed and then Mr. Body put a gun on them, so they left. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Freeman, any follow-ups?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
Okay, thank you.
Your
Ms.
Honor-
Porter, do you have any evidence
Your
to
Honor,
present?
this is not my case, but I do have the Cash App in question here that was actually
Judge,
denied.
this is improper.
I
This
think you
is-
gotta.
this
I
is-
think you gotta wait till your trial.
Thank you,
Your Honor,
Judge.
can I ask?
I said, hang on, everybody, hang on. So, Mr. Jerome, let me address this real quick. I think you're essentially sitting in the gallery right now, so I don't think it's proper for you to come in. I think you're going to have to wait till your rescheduled date for your client.
Judge,
So-
can I have a brief moment? I believe Mr. Jerome may have some evidence that's pertinent to my case. If I can have just a quick second, I can grab it from him and be prepared to introduce the evidence myself.
Judge, I'm going to object to that. I asked that we reset both defendants on the same day. Attorney Porter was the one who objected to that and wanted to proceed today. And because Attorney Jerome improperly inserted himself into this hearing, now Attorney Porter wants a moment to talk to Attorney Jerome. I object to all of that because Attorney Porter had the opportunity to wait and do this hearing at a later date, and she chose not to.
Your Honor, I understand that it's improper for Attorney Jerome to insert himself into the case.
Well,
I don't
so
think it's
hold
improper.
on. Let's start there. So, Attorney Jerome. Okay, turn your camera off. All right, now, Ms. Porter, go ahead.
I don't believe it's improper for the defense to ask for a brief moment to gather some evidence.
how are you going to talk to him?
I'm gonna call him very briefly.
All right. We'll take 3 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
And judges, my objections noted for the record.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, it's noted. Oh my God. The South. Lisa, I will try and show you updates on this case. I've not muted anything, by the way. We're just listening to it as it goes. We can hear anything. So interesting to me. Again, a lot of what that, so here's the point, right? An attorney, even an attorney who, oh, it gets worse, Lisa. Well, let me maybe eat my words in a minute. Let me say it quick. An attorney who's sitting in the gallery because they're watching in on a hearing that has something to do with their client would never in a million years stand up, walk to front, and then approach or try and interject in a court proceeding. They would never ever do that. A person might in bad faith, but that's not a normal process for an attorney. And so I think that there is some decorum not being followed here on both sides. What I think is interesting is that he's given the time for them to go and collect this evidence. What I think is obvious here is the lack of preparation to me. Y'all know each other. You got his phone number. You don't even have to ask for that. So why weren't you texting ahead of time? You know? Anyways, I haven't touched anything. We're just watching here at real time, see how long their 3 minutes takes. Again, I think that Zoom has unfortunately made lawyers very available in a lot of ways, but what the fuck is that? What the fuck? It's a hand. Unavailable in other ways. And so, for example, like because it's so easy for a client to show up at a hearing and them to show up at a hearing, the likelihood of them maybe meeting ahead of time as opposed to just talking on the phone, if that, is probably not as big as it used to be. And I think we've seen that time and time again in the preparation that participants in legal proceedings have had these days. It's not just the people in jail I'm talking about. Some of these hearings are well funded in reality.
All right, everybody back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Freeman, hang on just a second. I don't think Ms. Freeman's back yet. Okay, Ms. Freeman's back. Okay, Ms. Porter.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, I'd actually like to ask Mr. Garcia's father, Alexis Garcia, to log into the Zoom. I believe he's watching it from YouTube right now.
That is going to be a problem. And my objection is if Attorney Porter has just admitted that the witness has been watching the hearing via YouTube, that certainly goes against any kind of separation of witnesses. She did not announce any witnesses in the beginning.
Was the rule invoked? Did they need to invoke the rule in Georgia? In Texas, you got to invoke the rule. When you don't invoke that rule, then it becomes a judge's call. This is interesting. Wow. What? How do I pick random shit like this? Like, I didn't steal this from anybody. I didn't see anybody do this yet today. I literally just like grabbed some videos off of court streams that I know. It's so weird.
Attorney Jerome had announced his witnesses, they were placed in the waiting room. But she has just admitted that this witness has been watching it via YouTube.
Okay. I asked at the beginning whether you were going to be presenting witnesses for that reason. And so I'm not going to allow him to testify today. Do you have any witnesses who, I mean, I asked you earlier if you were going to have any witnesses and you didn't have any at the time. So Ms. Porter, I think we're ready for closing arguments at this point.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Freeman, closing.
The state waives opening.
All right, Ms. Porter.
Your Honor, this is not a situation of an armed robbery. This is a situation where two young men went to purchase a ATV from Mr. Body. They sent a Cash App. The Cash App actually declined because Mr. Body's Cash App was
I'm gonna
flagged.
object. Attorney Porter is trying to introduce something into her closing argument that was not testified to.
Your Honor, additionally,
I-
I withdraw that portion, Your Honor.
I didn't catch actually what the statement was, the end, so it really doesn't matter.
Okay. On three fronts here. Firstly, don't fucking object during closing arguments. You know it's not evidence. It's conjecture. So don't bother objecting during closing arguments. Second, you weren't asking. I'm going from the middle. So the lady in the middle, don't object during fucking closing arguments. Lady on the end, Brandy, don't back down. You didn't ask a question. You're making a statement. You can't retract it like that. Third, Judge, did you just admit that you weren't listening? That you didn't pay attention? That's a problem. That's not a good thing, okay? All y'all fucked.
Anyway, so go ahead, Ms. Porter.
So the Cash App was bounced back. The state is attempting to claim that a small statured young man picked up a 4-wheel ATV on his own, high enough to place it onto the bed of a truck. I find that to be incredulous and hard to believe. What actually happened, Your Honor, based off of what the officer testified, what both of the young men testified, and this is a situation where you have two young men saying the exact same thing versus one person who's saying something else. These young men went to purchase an ATV from Mr. Body. They sent him a Cash App. They both together loaded the ATV onto the back of the truck while Mr. Body was there. The Cash App then declined. Mr. Body then pulled a weapon.
Judge, I'm going to object again. Attorney Porter, in her closing argument, is trying to introduce statements that weren't testified to.
Ms. Freeman, I think everything she just said was exactly what the detective said that the defendants said. So I don't see a problem with what she just said. I'd like to let her finish.
Oh my God. This is like when you play a game with a kid who just gets fucking mad that they're losing. And they like interject and make it annoying. Ugh. Stop it. Literally, the one thing I very often admire about attorneys is their ability to shut the fuck up when it's not their turn to speak. It's actually shocking to me because individually with an attorney, when it is their turn to speak or when it's a free open space, they're going to talk most of the time. But they know the rules in court. These are not them.
Closing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The young men then left. At some point in time, Mr. Body followed them and pulled a weapon on them, and they fled from the scene because they were afraid. It's my understanding, based off of what the officer said, and based off of just simple 1+1, that once the Cash App failed, Mr. Body pulled a gun on the kids left. When the officers called and asked for them to come back, they came back. Mr. Body got his ATV back. There was no conversation about whether or not they could just make the additional payment. At most, Your Honor, at the very most, this is a theft by taking situation. This is not an armed robbery situation. There was no gun found. Neither of the boys testified, or the officer testified that neither of the boys said that they had a gun. Both of the young men said that Mr. Body is actually the person who had a gun. And I don't believe that it's disputed that there was, in fact, a Cash App sent. I don't believe it's disputed that the young men actually left. Whether or not who had the gun, I think maybe the only question here. But I think that in a situation where you have two people saying, we did not have a gun, the other person did, the weight of evidence, I believe, Your Honor, should tend to fall towards the two people as opposed to this one victim who is attempting to make this be an entirely larger situation. And to be totally honest, the victim at this point is not out of anything because they brought it back. All the officer had to do was call and ask, and they came back to the scene. I think that the charges should be dismissed in its entirety. If the court doesn't find that the charges should be dismissed, I would ask the court to reduce the charges to a theft by taking, because I do understand that the boys did leave and the Cash App did in fact bounce back. But I don't believe an armed robbery is appropriate here. There honestly is no evidence that there was ever a weapon held by this defendant. So I would ask the court to dismiss it in its entirety, and if not, to reduce to a theft by taking.
Okay, Ms. Freeman?
Thank you, Judge. We're asking that the charge of armed robbery is bound over to Superior Court. We heard the testimony from Officer Porter. When he spoke to the victim in this case, Mr. Body, he indicated that Mr. Garcia held the gun on him while the other individual grabbed the ATV. Neither of the individuals were able to explain if Mr. Body was the one who pointed the gun, how in the world did they come to take his ATV? They didn't have his permission to take it. Officer Porter contacted the defendant's father, Mr. Garcia, and after speaking with him, he stated that he would make his son bring the ATV back. Yes, it was returned, but that does not negate the fact that there was an armed robbery. There was a gun used. These two individuals took the ATV, and we're asking that the one charge of armed robbery is bound over to Superior Court.
Okay, thank you. Based on the evidence and testimony presented, I do find probable cause to bind over the charge of armed robbery to Superior Court. I will issue that order today. So thank you, everyone, and everyone here for the Garcia hearing can be excused.
Your
Thank you,
Honor, are you
Judge.
able to hear us on a bond issue?
No.
It has to be filed in Superior Court.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And Judge, and I guess may Officer Porter be excused until next Wednesday, the 6th?
Yes, thank you,
All right.
officer.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, excuse me, before you release Officer Porter, I did not hear the court essentially, I don't know how come the court would continue my case without my presence. I was actually on the phone with the RYDC, and they said that they do have a setup for Zoom. They usually use it for first appearance, but they can use it for this preliminary hearing. So we are going to have my client's preliminary hearing. He's a 16-year-old kid that didn't do anything wrong. And
I postponed this in our conversation earlier.
That's correct, Judge. You did. And Attorney Jerome was present when you indicated that it would be placed on Wednesday's calendar because of the process. The procedure is that there should be a pickup order, and the juvenile will be brought to the sheriff's office.
Please,
Everybody's
can you please?
Everybody's talking at the same time.
Wow. Again, Miss Freeman, you're out of line. He may not be appropriate to ask. I think actually it is, in fact, that he should ask the judge, hey, what's going on with my case? Maybe not in such a confrontational manner, but he absolutely is in the A-OK for asking about it. Miss Freeman needs to shut the fuck up. Lisa, I think they're both out of order. The judge is the judge. I know it sounds weird, but part of what I respect about certain lawyers is when they fucking shut up. If he's so out of line, then she shouldn't need to say a word. The judge will handle that if it's so obviously him out of line. He had a case before this that was continued. He's asking about that case. I get that. I don't think it's proper. Like I just said before, I mean, what was that, 10 minutes ago? I don't think in person that a lawyer would approach in the same way or handle this in the same way. However, I'm very turned off by the prosecutor's interjections, to be honest. I guess the more time goes by that I watch court, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I have been live streaming this and watching it for the first time. So you have to give me a little bit of leeway. I however, don't think that if it was so obvious he's out of line that she needed to say something. Thou doth protest too much, methinks.
All right.
And Miss Freeman thought that it was her position to jump in and interrupt.
You jumped in and interrupted a hearing that you weren't involved in. So there's been a whole lot of interrupting. Would everyone just settle down for a second? Mr. Jerome, this was addressed earlier. You were on. We talked about how are we going to handle this because there was no production order. That is the process here. And we said we're going to postpone your hearing. We then just moved on to this hearing that we just held and decided we're going to go ahead and move forward with that because that attorney had a leave of absence for the date next week that when we rescheduled yours. You've now jumped back in and you've told me, well, I wasn't there. You were there when we talked about this. So I'm not quite understanding what's going on, but I'm going to let you speak. Go ahead.
All right. I understand that the officer the last that I heard, the officer was checking to see if there was a production order put in, which I heard.
I'm just going to say this. If she interrupts again, I'll feel a little vindicated. The judge has now given him permission to speak, leave of the court to speak. So at this point in time, he's allowed to say this. I don't know if she can handle it. I can see her like head down thinking about it. Again, this is why I probably couldn't be a lawyer. I'm just a lady that watches law on her TV and comments on it.
Already known that there was not. I actually was at the YDC yesterday and I spoke to them and everything else. And had I known, I would have handled this yesterday. But nonetheless, Your Honor, this is not the issue of Mr. McNaughton. You know what I mean? He's a 16-year-old kid. He's, you know what I'm saying? Essentially, he turned himself in. He came back to the scene. He called 911. You know what I'm saying? He did all this. This is not somebody that was running or acting like any kind of criminal at all. The person that is the criminal, the person who actually has cases here in Clinton County is Mr. Body. Mr. Body is the one who makes false police reports. Mr. Body is the one who has trespassing charges in Clinton County.
There's really
a theft by taking. You know what I'm saying? That's not my client, Mr. McNaughton. But Mr. McNaughton is the one who's in jail. He's 16 years old. He's been there for 3 weeks. I don't know how the DA, the officer, everybody can be so happy just letting this kid sit in jail, miss school and all this, and he didn't do anything wrong. Did they even look into Mr. Body and what kind of person he is?
Is Sergeant Barton in the front?
all right. You ready for me?
Officer Porter, make sure
All
you
right,
stay
here's
muted,
what-
please.
Here's
Stay
what we're
muted, Officer
doing.
Porter.
Again,
Again, not your fucking place, Mrs. Freeman. And yeah, Mr. Jerome is upset. But again, she just couldn't keep her goddamn mouth shut, even telling the fucking jail staff. I'm sorry. I hold prosecutors and defense attorneys in different lights and standards because they have different roles. Okay? And vigorous and like well-meaning advocacy on behalf of a 16-year-old child who's been incarcerated for 3 weeks for possibly a mistake is not something I will think is out of line. I do think that it's hard to properly get that through, but again, the judge seems pretty on it. I don't know why Miss Freeman's talking about it. He's digging his own grave at this point if he's already out of line and going to get a reprimand. In my opinion, like, do you know how often I mark down lawyers I would like to ever use versus, oh, fucking never hire ever? I'm going to tell you, he's not on the shit list.
that case is reset. Your client's case is reset. I believe it's September the 6th. I think it's a week from now. These are all these issues that you are bringing up are issues you can bring up in that hearing. But for today's business, it's reset. That takes care of it. And you can be excused, Mr. Jerome.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks.
Officer
Okay.
Porter, you're excused until next Wednesday.
Wow. Guys, we're going to bond hearings from the same judge. I didn't know that was there.
And our interpreter is not on yet, so we'll wait on the Spanish-speaking defendant and for a little bit till the interpreter joins.
The fucking copyright.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Judge John Parker. I'm with the Clayton County Magistrate Court, and this is the first appearance hearing for September the 1st. I'm going to tell you a few things about what we're going to do today. But first, let me tell you, we are not here to try your case this morning or to take a plea or have any legal discussions about your case. So we're not going to be talking about the specific facts of your case. What I'm going to do for you today is inform you of the charges that have been brought against you, advise you of your rights, set a bond on those offenses where I'm authorized to do so this morning, and schedule a preliminary hearing. I'm also going to talk to you about whether you would like to apply for a court-appointed attorney and determine if you qualify. Okay, let me talk about your rights first. You have the right to remain silent. Please do not attempt to tell me any specific details or personal details that I don't ask you for this morning. This is a public hearing and it is streamed live to YouTube. It is also being recorded. You are presumed to be innocent of all charges until the state of Georgia proves you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to an indictment by a grand jury for felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and a public trial by a jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, and the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf and offer other evidence in your defense. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. If you are not a U.S. citizen, some charges may adversely affect your immigration status, and you would need to consult with an attorney if you have questions about immigration. Like I said earlier, I'm going to assign bond on those charges where I'm authorized to do so this morning. If you are given a bond amount and you post the bond, you can be released from jail pending the prosecution of your case. Bonds can be posted in 3 different ways. The first is a cash bond. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash to the sheriff's office, along with the applicable fees. The sheriff's office would hold that cash bond until your final court date, at which time the cash would be returned to whoever posted it. The second way of posting bond is using a commercial bonding company. If you do not have the full amount of the bond in cash, you can use a bonding company who may charge you up to 15% of the total bond amount as their fee, and that fee would not be returned to you. Someone may also post a bond using their property, as long as they have a net equity in their property of at least 3 times the amount of the bond. Now, each of you will have a condition on your bond that says you are not to violate any other laws while you are out on bond. Some of you will have additional conditions, though. Those conditions may be that I prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places while out on bond. If I have a no contact provision on your bond, that means you must stay away from and have no contact with the alleged victim whose name we will put on the bond order. Having no contact means you cannot call them, text them, email, write a letter, or contact them through any sort of social media. If I order you not to return to a particular location, that means you cannot go back to that location for any reason. If the location happens to be a residence that you share with the alleged victim, let me know that, because I can put a condition in the bond order that would allow you to return to that location while accompanied by deputies and retrieve what personal items you would need while out on bond. We'll talk more about that as I talk to each of you. If you do violate a special condition on your bond order and the court considers contact with an alleged victim to be intimidating or harassing, you could receive additional felony charges such as aggravated stalking or influencing a witness. Those types of charges carry punishment of up to 20 years in prison and $20,000 in fines. Also, if your spouse, family member, or friend is the alleged victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond, as the court will have a no contact order as a special condition on your bond. You are also not allowed to contact an alleged victim while you are in jail. For those family members and friends watching this live stream, you should wait at least 3 hours after the conclusion of today's court proceeding before attempting to post a bond, as it takes that amount of time for all the paperwork to be processed this morning. Some of you may be charged with offenses for which I am not authorized to set a bond. In those cases, a bond hearing would be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court. If you are currently on active probation, I may not be authorized to set a bond this morning, and whether a bond is appropriate in your case would be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. Now, let me talk about preliminary hearings. I'm going to schedule each of you for a preliminary hearing today. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained on your charges. If you post bond and are released from jail, then your preliminary hearing is automatically canceled or waived because you are out of jail and no longer detained. If you are charged with misdemeanors only, I will ask you this morning if you want me to schedule the preliminary hearing or if you want to go ahead and waive or cancel the preliminary hearing this morning. What waiving your preliminary hearing may do is move your case along the pipeline a little faster. If you waive your preliminary hearing this morning, magistrate court, which is where you are now, will transfer your case to state court, and state court would go ahead and schedule your next hearing, which would be your arraignment hearing. If you do not waive your preliminary hearing, then we do not transfer your case to state court until the preliminary hearing. Whether you choose to schedule the preliminary hearing or if you choose to waive the preliminary hearing is totally your choice, and I do not have any preference as to which way you choose.
That sounds like a fake deal, right? Like, if you do this one, your case may go closer or may go quicker, but I don't have any preference. I don't know. We did see that one case, I'm sure we all saw on Court TV or some stupid channel. Not that they're stupid, but where the judge like fought the lawyer because he wouldn't waive the hearing. Anyways, guys, please go ahead, clock in for your shift by hitting the like button, please. It's so helpful to me with YouTube Daddy. We are growing at exactly the right pace. You know, this is like when you're a teenager and you're wondering, when are my boobies going to come? They'll come when you're ready. Such a weird reference. Anyways though, guys, no, seriously, it very much helps out. Also, commenting on the videos later is very helpful as well. Very, very much so. You guys are prolific chatters, but you know, once we done, but sometimes it's very helpful if you come back. Let's continue. I have to say I like Judge Dismissal Dan a little better than this, but you know, we take what we get. Lisa says, are these all mail order bride candidates? I don't know. Are you talking about me? I'm kidding.
But like I said, if you post bond and are released, then you are waiving your preliminary hearing automatically. Now I need to swear everyone in. If everyone will please raise your right hand and you can say I do when I finish the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide to this court, as long as any information provided on your application for a court-appointed attorney is true and correct? If so, say I do.
I do.
All right. And deputies, I'll take the Spanish-speaking defendant now. I think Ms. Bermudez is on with us here.
Every fucking time there's a translator. No, it just makes me feel
morning, Your
fucking
Honor.
stupid.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. Doing well.
Who do we have, Judge? I'm
I-
not sure.
I am not quite certain. My guess would be that this may be Mr. Padilla. Let's see. Okay. All right. If you can unmute there. Okay. Actually, Ms. Bermudez, let me swear you in. If you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm that that you will translate from English to Spanish or from Spanish to English accurately and to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay.
I don't.
Sir, can you state your name for me?
Señor, ¿podría usted decir su nombre para mí?
¿Cómo dice?
What did you say?
Can you state your name for me?
¿Podría usted decirme su nombre? seems like he cannot hear me, Judge.
I was going to say, can you hear us, sir?
¿Puede usted escucharme, señor?
Ahora sí,
Ok, ¿podría usted decirme su nombre?
Martín Elías.
Martín Elías. He's probably listed as Martin, Judge.
He can probably put his hand down.
I'm not seeing deputies. Martin Elias.
Correct. I think that's
Elias. Okay, I got you. All right,
Yes,
that's
yes.
all right. That was not the defendant I was guessing there. Give me just a second. Let me get that paperwork.
yes, sir.
I'll keep it on the ground.
Okay. And sir, I will swear you in.
Señor, yo lo voy a juramentar.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you're providing to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Jura usted y afirma que la información que usted va a dar ante este juez va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad.
Es la verdad.
See,
The truth.
Thank you. You can lower your hand.
Gracias. Puede bajar su mano.
¿Entonces?
Puede bajar su mano.
Okay. Mr. Elias, you are charged with driving without a license.
Señor Elías, a usted se le acusa de manejar sin licencia de conducir.
Así es.
That is a misdemeanor.
Esto es un delito menor.
That bond amount is $1,000.
La cantidad de su fianza es de $1,000.
Now, I want to explain your rights to you.
Yo les quiero explicar sus derechos.
First of all, this is a public hearing that is streamed live to YouTube.
Primero, esta es una audiencia pública, la cual está siendo transmitida en vivo vía YouTube.
So do not give me any information that I do not ask you for.
O sea, que no me dé ningún tipo de información que yo no le pida.
You are presumed to be innocent of your charges until the state proves you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
A usted se le presume ser inocente de sus cargos hasta que el Estado pruebe su culpabilidad más allá de una duda razonable.
You have the right to accusation for misdemeanors.
Usted tiene el derecho de que se le formule una acusación para los delitos menores.
You have the right to a speedy and a public trial.
I feel bad, but all I can think of when I'm listening to her talk is, hey, Macarena, 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 hey, Macarena, 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 which is inappropriate. And I took 4 years of school Spanish in Canada. I don't speak any of it.
By a jury.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un juicio público y ante un jurado.
You have the right to compel the attendance of your witnesses to testify for you.
Usted tiene el derecho de exigir la asistencia de sus testigos para que testifiquen a su favor.
And you have the right to see, hear, and question the witnesses who will testify against you.
Usted tiene el derecho de ver, escuchar y contrainterrogar a los testigos que sean citados a testificar en su contra.
You have the right to testify on your own behalf and offer other evidence in your defense.
Usted tiene el derecho de testificar a su favor y presentar pruebas para ser usadas en su defensa.
You have the right to have an attorney represent you.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado para que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be provided for you at no cost.
Si usted no pudiera contratarse su propio abogado, uno le podría ser nombrado sin costo alguno para usted.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, some charges may adversely affect your immigration status.
Si usted no es ciudadano estadounidense, algunos cargos podrían afectar de forma negativa su estado migratorio.
If you have questions about your immigration status, you would need to ask an attorney.
Y si usted tiene preguntas respecto a su estado migratorio, usted tendría que hacérselas a un abogado.
Your $1,000 bond can be posted in 3 ways.
Su fianza de $1,000 podría ser pagada de 3 formas.
The first would be posting the full amount of the bond in cash and giving that to the sheriff's office.
La primera sería llevando la cantidad total de su fianza en efectivo a la comisaría.
That would have to be delivered in full along with the applicable fees.
Esto tendría que ser pagado en su totalidad más las tarifas aplicables.
The sheriff's office would hold the cash bond until your final court date and then return it to the person who posted the bond.
La comisaría que se quedaría con este dinero hasta el final de su caso y luego se lo reembolsaría a la persona que lo pagó.
The second way of posting a bond would be using a commercial bonding company.
La segunda forma de pagar su fianza sería usando una compañía de fianzas.
They may charge up to 15% of the bond as a fee for their service.
Ellos le podrían cobrar hasta el 15% como la cuota que ellos cobran por pagar la fianza por usted.
And that fee would not be returned to you at the end of your case.
Y esa tarifa no le sería reembolsada al final de su caso.
Someone may also post a bond using their property if they have a net equity in that property of 3 times the amount of your bond.
Alguien también puede pagar la fianza usando su propiedad, siempre y cuando ellos tengan un patrimonio neto en dicha propiedad que sea hasta 3 veces la cantidad total de su fianza.
There will also be a condition on your bond that you cannot violate any other laws while out on bond.
También va a haber una condición en su fianza que dice que usted no puede infringir cualquier otra ley mientras usted esté fuera bajo fianza.
Your preliminary hearing will be scheduled for September the 26th.
Su audiencia preliminar va a ser programada para el día 26 de septiembre.
If you post bond and are released from jail before that time, then the hearing is automatically canceled.
Si usted paga su fianza y lo ponen en libertad antes de esa fecha, entonces esta audiencia se cancela automáticamente.
You would then receive a notice of your next hearing in state court in the mail.
Entonces usted recibiría una notificación de cuándo va a ser su próxima audiencia en el tribunal estatal por correo.
If you plan on posting a bond right away and you want me to go ahead and cancel the September 26th hearing, I can do that.
Si usted piensa pagar su fianza inmediatamente y antes de la fecha del día o antes de su próxima audiencia del día 26 de septiembre, yo podría cancelar esa audiencia.
Would you like me to schedule or cancel that hearing?
¿Le gustaría a usted que yo le programe o que yo cancele esa audiencia?
I don't know either, buddy.
And I think the microphone is on mute there at the
It
jail.
is.
It is on mute, but he's still not saying anything.
Okay, we're just going to go ahead and schedule it for September the 26th.
Vamos a proceder y le vamos a programar su audiencia para el día 26 de septiembre.
Mr. Elias, would you like to apply for an attorney at no cost to represent you?
Señor Elías, ¿le gustaría a usted solicitar que le nombre un abogado de oficio sin costo alguno para usted para que le represente?
Sí,
Yes.
Okay. What kind of work do you do?
¿Qué tipo de trabajo hace usted?
construcción,
En construction.
How much do you earn after taxes in your average week?
¿Cuánto gana usted después de haber pagado los impuestos en una semana promedio?
I don't know.
ya 800 a $1,000.
I make from $800 to $1,000
Per week?
por
I
semana.
forgot that $1,000 means $1,000. I was like, millions of dollars. Bro's making millions? No, it's $1,000, which is thousands, Paisley. We've been over this so many fucking times in Spanish class, and yet still washes right over it.
¿Semana?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Based on your income level, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney.
Basado en su nivel de ingreso, usted no califica para un abogado de oficio.
If you would like an attorney to represent you on this charge, you will
What?
need to hire your own attorney.
Si usted quisiera tener un abogado para que lo represente en este cargo, usted tendría que contratarse su propio abogado.
That takes care of all of our business this morning. Do you have any questions?
Y eso sería todo por la mañana de hoy. ¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta?
Me dijeron ayer que era 1,300 mi fianza y yo pagué 800 y a todo el resto 500.
Repita.
Ayer pagué 800 de fianza, me dijeron que era 1,300 y a solo me falta $500 para cancelarlo.
I was told yesterday that my bond was $1,300. I already paid $800, so I only need to pay another $500.
Okay. Well, the bond that I'm assigning is 1,000. That may have included the fees.
La fianza que yo le estoy fijando es de 1,000. Esa cantidad que usted mencionó probablemente incluye las tarifas mandatorias.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
¿Alguna otra pregunta, señor?
No, al rato van a venir a pagar los otros 500. ¿Cree que voy a salir o no puedo salir?
No, they're going to come and pay the other 500. Do you think that I'm going to be released or not?
If the bond is posted, then you would be released, and it should happen fairly quickly.
Si se paga la fianza, a usted deberían de ponerlo en libertad y eso debería de pasar bien pronto.
Okay.
Gracias.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Gracias, señor. Pase buen día.
Right. And I think that's it. Deputies, were there any other Spanish-speaking defendants?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bermudez, thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
fucking God.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, hang on just a second. I think Ms. Bermudez had a question, but I'm sorry, Ms. Bermudez, you froze up for a second there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
Uh-huh.
I have the other name that you had, Your Honor. Mr. Padilla.
Yeah.
Is he good?
Listen, deputies, is Mr.
He's good. We already asked him. He said he speaks complete English.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, Ms. Bermudez, have a great weekend.
Yes, Your Honor, you do as well. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And Your Honor, can we do Mr. Green next?
Sure.
Also, for anybody asking about Streamlabs, it would be helpful if I was monetized for Streamlabs because it does cost me stupid money. It's not a lot of money. It's just stupid money because I could use a lot of other programs for free, or the one that everybody uses, but I don't because I like gambling with you guys. I like hanging out and all the fun things we can do. And eventually it'll just be one, but I am literally maintaining the other one until I figure out the other channel. So, but I don't know how to fuck with all the settings. You know how it goes. I don't know. I'm glad we're done that Spanish thing. As usual, it just makes me feel fucking stupid. Like every Spanish class ever did. Because for some reason, it's like I never got the basics. And so I don't get the rest of it. I guess that's what I mean. Like they're like basing it. They're like, well, you understand this. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't understand any part of that. All the words, they come at me. I don't hear them. So same with French. I mean, I'm a classic white lady from Canada, West Coast Canada. I don't speak English or I don't speak French. But like I said, I made my daughter do that. I don't think that's the case, Matt. The problem with Streamlabs is it doesn't see all comments version of the chat, so it won't read all the comments. That's not true. It does. Are you talking about? Okay, so there's two things we're talking about. Are you talking about people like the chat being reflected on the screen versus hi, search for Spock, happy holiday weekend, please make sure you clock in for your shift. But are you talking about it being shown up here on the screen right below where I am, right there? Or are you talking about it hearing your commands to gamble? Because there is a timeout period with some of the gambling. You can't just do it over and over and over again. There's some time in between them. And so You'll note the sort of old hats at this. They alternate between the games. But anyways, my whole point is that Streamlabs does listen. Streamlabs tells me a lot. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I don't want to have to rub it in or not, but I know shit about y'all. So please like the video. It's very helpful. I promise.
What was the name again?
Green,
Green. Okay.
Bessie Green.
Yeah, I'll take that. Okay. All right, sir, can you state your full name for me?
Bjorn Green.
All right, Mr. Green, were you able to hear earlier when I described everyone's rights?
No, sir. For some odd reason, they left me in the cell.
All right, I'm going to tell you a few things about what we're doing today. Give me just a second here.
No.
Let me explain your rights to you first. You have the YouTube or by accusation. You have to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called defense. You have the right to have an attorney if you qualify. If you are not a U.S. citizen, some charges may adversely affect your immigration status, and you would need to consult with an attorney on that issue. I'm going to assign you a bond today. You have 3 ways of posting that bond. The first would be delivering the full amount of the bond in cash to the sheriff's office. Along with the applicable fees, the sheriff's office would hold that cash bond until the final court date and then return it to the person who posted the bond. The second way would be using a commercial bonding company. They may charge you up to 15% of the bond as a fee for their service. That fee is not returned to you at the end of your case. The third way of posting a bond is property. If someone has net equity in their property of at least 3 times the amount of your bond, they can post their property.
Well, Matt, that weird Matt guy, that's very interesting information. I will take that and I am going to go ahead and I'll talk to them in Discord about that. They're very responsive, Streamlabs is, especially since I pay them money. It's great. They love me. They're like, yes, ma'am. So I will check into that. You know, it's also that we're in a new, we're in a new era, a new time. Let's see.
As your bond. You're going to have a condition on your bond that you're not to violate any other laws while out on bond. Let me see. I'm also going to schedule. Well, let me go ahead and tell you what the bonds are this morning. So you're charged with 6 different offenses here. The first charge is abandonment of certain drugs, poisons, or controlled substances. That's a misdemeanor.
Now what? They getting you for holding them, but they also getting you for getting rid of drugs? Did anybody ever tell me that? I didn't know that. What's happening? Don't abandon your drugs. Oh, I'm so confused.
Misdemeanor. That bond amount is going to be $1,500. The second charge is loitering or prowling. That is a misdemeanor. That bond amount is going to be $1,000. The next 2 charges are obstruction or hindering of law enforcement. Those are misdemeanor offenses. Those are each going to have a bond amount of $2,000, and there's 2 of those charges. The 5th charge that you have is a violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Give me just a moment here. That is a felony offense. That bond amount is going to be $6,000. And then your last charge is a misdemeanor that is use or possession of a drug-related object. That bond amount is going to be $1,000. So when we add all those bonds up, your total bond this morning comes to $13,500. All right, I've scheduled a preliminary hearing for you. Preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. That's going to be held on September the 25th at 8:30 a.m. If you post bond and are released from jail before that date, then that hearing is just automatically canceled. And then you would get a notice in the mail of your next hearing, which would be your arraignment hearing from the state court of Clayton County. Let's see. And would you like to apply for a public defender?
Not at the moment. I would like to see if you can lower the bonds though. I mean,
No, sir. That's as low as we can go today. 13,500 is the total. Okay, so you do not want to apply for a public defender?
no.
Do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
And
All
I'd
right.
like to inform you, man, that your officers in here are taking full advantage of these inmates, man. They physically
All right.
harsh, unruly conditions, and they put their
All
hands
right.
on you, and they
Thank
got
you. That'll take care of everything today, sir. Thank you.
Glad his life.
Deputies, I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Well, I'll go ahead and take this time to like the video.
Okay. I'm
That was
back.
awkward. Oh, wow, that was not 30 seconds, Judge. Thank you. Or not. Or there he is. Oh. This is so weird. This judge, like, do you ever see anything like this in Judge Nagel's court? No. It's the same county. Mine means stay out of
Your Honor,
Clayco, though.
can we do Mr. McGruder? And then,
Rudder, okay.
yeah, and then after him, we can proceed with the females.
All right. Sounds good.
What did he say? I'm trying to listen.
Okay, sir, can you state your full name for me?
My name is Michael Donnell McGruder Jr.
What?
Say your last name one more time.
McGruder, McGruder.
McGruder. I got you. All right. I was looking for a different name. All right, Mr. McGruder, hang on just a second. Let me find that paperwork here.
Larry. I'm sorry, Larry.
All right, here we go. Okay, Mr. McGruder, you have got 4 charges. These are all felony offenses. And the criminal records index indicates you were given 5 years of confinement plus 5 years of probation back in 2017. Since we're still within that period, I cannot give you a bond on a felony offense this morning. But the offenses are an inmate in possession of a prohibited item. Second offense is riot in a penal institution. Third offense is aggravated battery. Fourth offense is aggravated assault. Okay. Your preliminary hearing is going to be on September the 25th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you on these charges?
Yeah, I already filled out the paper.
Okay. All right. And I know you were currently incarcerated, so I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I'm going to put that order in this morning to appoint someone to represent you on these new charges. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, who's next? Come on, run a tight ship.
Okay. Good morning. Can you state your name for me, ma'am?
Alexis Diana Clausel.
Okay, Ms. Clausel, you have got three charges. Looks like these are all misdemeanors. The first charge is driving on a suspended or revoked license. That bond is $1,500. The second charge is expired vehicle registration. That bond is going to be $500. And the last charge is no insurance. That bond's going to be $1,000. So when we add all three of those bond amounts up, your total bond this morning comes to $3,000. These are all misdemeanors. Do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Oh, it cut out. I'm sorry.
Oh, so do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
You can schedule it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get bonded out.
Okay. All right. We'll schedule you for September the 26th. If you post bond before then, that hearing is just automatically canceled at that point. And would you like to apply for a public defender?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I understand you are not currently working. Do you have any other type of income?
No, not at the time.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on these charges. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Ann Kennard.
Can you say it one more time?
Ann Kennard.
Kennard, okay. Let's see. Okay, Ms. Kennard, you have got one charge, that is criminal trespass. That bond amount is $1,500. That comes with a special condition that while out on bond, you are not to return to this location at 6469 Camp Street in Riverdale. This is a misdemeanor. Do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
You can schedule that.
Schedule, all right. We'll put you on the calendar for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. And those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And would you like to apply for a public defender?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I understand from your application you are not currently working. Do you have any other type of income?
No.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you do qualify.
Hi, Cachette. I hope you're doing well. I'm having a great time. I'm dancing a little bit now. Not quite sure why. Oh, there's a link tree up above. You can choose many ways to throw money at me. I appreciate your support always. But seriously, liking the video, commenting, checking out the link tree. I love you all. Let's keep watching.
For a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on this charge. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Next, stand up.
Stand up.
Sir, ma'am, you are being recorded on YouTube. Please don't do that in front of the camera.
All right, ma'am, can you state your name for me? Ms. Cousin, you have got three charges. The first charge is criminal trespass. That bond amount is $1,500. Second charge is obstruction of a law enforcement officer. That bond is $2,000. The third charge is possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. That bond is going to be $1,000. So when we add those three bonds up, your total bond this morning comes to $4,500. This comes with a special condition that you are to stay away from the location at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard while out on bond. These are all misdemeanor charges. Do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you waive that hearing?
She waived that.
Waive, okay. I'll indicate here you're waiving the hearing, and the deputies there will have a waiver form for you to sign in just a moment, and then they'll send that to me to sign this morning. And do you want to apply for a public defender? Do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
I would like to represent myself.
Okay. Are you sure you want to do that? If you qualify for a public defender, then an attorney can be appointed to give you some advice at no cost to you. But that's just up to you. Do you want to apply for a public defender to help you with your case?
You can have one present, but I would like to defend myself.
Do you want to meet with a public defender to decide if you want them to represent you? Okay, I'm just going to indicate that you're representing yourself then. All right. Thank you. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Hi, Daniels.
All right, Miss Daniels, you have two charges. The first charge is a DUI charge. That bond amount is going to be $2,500. The second charge is improper lane change, and that bond amount is going to be $500. So your total bond is going to be $3,000. Would you like me to schedule you for a preliminary hearing on September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
I'll waive it.
Waive, okay. All right, I'll indicate here that you're waiving the preliminary hearing, and the deputies there will have a waiver form for you to sign in just a second, and then they'll send that to me to sign. And would you like to apply for a public defender?
No, thank you.
Okay, do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
No.
Do you plan on representing yourself?
Yes.
You sure you want to do that?
Mhm.
If you
I'm busy back here getting the oh yeah or the let me do it again. Does it work in here? Fuck, it better work. Why doesn't it work here? Oh, hold on. But it works over here. Oh, hold on. No. No. What the fuck? Okay, I don't know how to make a different song or sound. Are these two idiots being soft idiots? Is that what's happening here? I think that's what's happening. How did I make that work before? Seriously. I'm perplexed. Okay, what if I get rid of that and then I do this? No? Okay. That's the best we could do. I'm sorry.
qualify for a public defender, then you could have someone there to advise you at no cost. Are you sure you want to represent yourself on the case?
Yes.
All right. I'll indicate you are representing yourself. Thank you. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me? Okay, Miss Harris, you have got 4 charges. The first charge is violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That is a felony offense. That bond amount is $7,500. The second charge is a second violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, also a felony. That bond amount is $7,500. The next charge is theft by receiving stolen property. That is going to have a bond amount of $5,000. And then the next charge is possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. And that is also a $5,000 bond. So when I add all of your bonds up, your grand total this morning comes to $25,000. I have scheduled a preliminary hearing for you that is going to take place on the 25th of September. Give me just a moment here. Okay, and would you like to apply for a public defender to represent you?
No.
Are you going to hire your own attorney?
Yes.
All right, I'll indicate that you'll be hiring your own attorney. All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Sarita
I couldn't hear you. Can you say it one more time?
Irby.
Miss Irby?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Irby, you have got one charge. That's obstruction of a law enforcement officer. That bond amount is going to be $2,000. That is a misdemeanor offense. Would you like me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
I'll waive it.
Waive, okay. All right, I'll indicate here you're waiving the hearing, and then the deputies there will have a waiver form for you to sign in just a moment that they'll send over to me to sign this morning. And do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I've received your application for a court-appointed attorney. Based on your income level, you do not qualify for a court-appointed attorney. And so if you would like an attorney to represent you on this charge, you'll have to hire your own, okay?
I'm fine. It's just.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
How much money these people making?
If I don't bond out, I'll have to stay until your court date. Then we just bring it back. You would have to find out. That's for sure.
No, if you don't waive your hearing, you're preliminary hearing. But if you don't waive it and you don't find out, you'll probably get it later, but you wouldn't know until it comes.
So I just waive it, so I can go to the court.
Right.
So I don't. I'd like to not waive.
Okay.
Still,
My
hi,
preliminary.
chat. Also,
Give me
oh,
just a
man,
second
fucking
to
things
amend
up.
that here.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Alright.
I need to find my
have a
lighter,
clear
too.
understanding.
That's fine. That's
Also,
fine.
hi,
So we'll
Jody.
schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one.
They'll let you know.
26th.
Do I qualify
Alright.
for signature bond?
No,
ma'am, you would have told that.
Are you asking me a question? I don't know who you're asking.
Do I qualify for a signature bond?
No, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Oh, man.
well. I think that's.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Robin Moats.
All right, Ms. Moats, you have got 5 charges. The first charge is a cracked windshield.
Loud Elvis, there's no
violation. That
court
bond amount
tomorrow.
is $500.
Please keep that in mind. Tomorrow is a holiday, and I believe Mikey has taken a holiday for court, but will be back for the chase tomorrow afternoon at 4:05 Eastern, but not for 105 East for court like normal. Unfortunately, should I fill the gap? Could I fill the gap? Would I dare? I don't know. It'll really depend on what time I get into bed, but it will not be 105 East on Credence and Mikey tomorrow, Loud Elvis. They're slacking, those boys. Crystal, it's been a shit week. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you back at work, school, life? You know, September fucking sucks. We've all appealed to have September just end or like start at the end, but they're just not into it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Crystal, those are really serious things. Your puppy passed away yesterday and you were diagnosed with kidney and ovarian cancer. I do not mean to laugh at that. Sending you as much positivity as I can. I don't even know what to say to that, my friend. But we're here for you. Oh dear. That's tough, Carson. That is super tough. But you know what? Diagnosed is better than undiagnosed. We will continue. We will help you. We will figure that out one day at a time. You here to get distracted? Let me dance for you, girl. Here we go.
Three charges are all felony violations of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. The criminal records index indicates you were given 10 years of probation back in 2018 in Jasper County. And because we're still within that 10-year period, I cannot assign a bond on a felony violation. So no bond on the three drug charges that are felonies. There's the fifth charge is a misdemeanor possession of marijuana. We can go ahead and assign a $1,000 bond on it. I've scheduled a preliminary hearing for you. That's going to take place on September the 25th at 8:30 a.m. And those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And would you like to apply for a public defender?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Give me just a moment to find your application here. Okay. I understand you are not currently working. Do you have any other sort of income?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning.
Mayor's into shock and awe with everybody showing Prince Albert off.
Thank you, but I gotta be more.
Oh, Lisa, you're gonna do great. We get through all the things we get through together, you guys.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Jocelyn Rainey.
All right, Miss Rainey, you have got one charge. That is a misdemeanor battery family violence charge. That bond amount is $3,500. That comes with special conditions. So you have to, while out on bond, you will have to stay away from and have no contact with the alleged victim, Diana Rainey. And I understand that you and Miss Rainey live in the same household. So that means you cannot return back to the residence at 7815 Chase Woods Drive in Jonesboro. I will put a condition in your bond order here that says within the first 10 days of you being released, you can schedule an appointment with the sheriff's office where they'll give you a date and a time that you can go to the residence and pick up what personal items you need while this bond condition is in place without violating your bond. Okay. But you need to schedule that within the first 10 days of your release. This is a misdemeanor. Do you want me to schedule a preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing? You don't want to waive it? Is that what we said? I'm having a problem hearing the audio. You may have to just speak up louder.
No. In case I don't get
Okay, you're talking to me, ma'am. I'm here.
Hello.
Okay, you want us to just put you on the calendar for September the 26th, and then if you post bond before then that hearing's just canceled automatically. Let's do that. Okay. All right, so September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. will be the preliminary hearing. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And do you want to apply for a public defender?
Yes.
All right, I understand you are not currently working. Do you have any other sort of income?
No.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put that order in this morning, appointing somebody to represent you. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, are we gonna get any more soft
All right,
idiots
good
in
morning,
here?
ma'am.
This
Can
is
you state your name
crazy.
for me?
Monisha Riles.
Okay, Miss Riles, you have two charges. The first is battery family violence. That bond amount is $3,500. The second charge is stalking, and that is a misdemeanor. That bond amount is $2,500. So your total bond this morning comes to $6,000. That comes with special conditions here that you, while out on bond.
Hold on. I was busy. We need to go back. We need to go back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. We need to just start at her start. Start at her start, meet with her where she's at. Let's go ahead and read into it. And here we go. Let's see. I'm going to pay attention this time. I'm paying attention.
All right. Good
Keep
morning,
paying
ma'am. Can you
attention.
state your
Okay,
name
here we
for
go.
me?
Onisha Riles.
Okay, Ms. Riles, you have two charges. The first is battery family violence. That bond amount is $3,500. The second charge is stalking, and that is a misdemeanor. That bond amount is $2,500. So your total bond this morning comes to $6,000. That comes with special conditions here that you, while out on bond, you are to stay away from the alleged victim, Adaja Johnson. I may not be pronouncing that first name correctly. Adaja Johnson, and not to return to the location at 6073 Camden Forest in Riverdale. These are both misdemeanors. Would you like me to schedule the preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Don't come back to the forest.
Well, when I bond out, it'll waive the healing, correct?
Right. It's automatically waived when you
It's not healing, ma'am. It's a hearing. Oh, geez.
bond out.
Yeah, no, just wait, because I'm gonna bond out.
You're going to bond out? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll just note that you're waiving the hearing, and they'll go ahead and have you sign a waiver form this morning so that we can transfer your case to state court. Would you like to apply for a public defender?
If I'm eligible, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Look here. Okay, based on your application, I find that you do qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, and I will put the order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on these charges.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me?
Danica Vines.
Okay, Ms. Vines, you have got one charge. That is criminal trespass. That bond amount is going to be $1,500. That will include a special condition that while out on bond, you are not to return to this location at 6025 Old Dixie Road in Forest Park. Would you like me to schedule a preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
You set me a preliminary hearing.
All right. All right. We'll schedule you for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. And those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. Give me just one moment to finish this. Do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
Yes, Sean.
Okay. Give me just a moment to find your application here.
She waived her hearing, y'all.
No waiver on Ms. Vines here. All right, Ms. Vines, I see from your application you are not currently working. Do you have any other sort of income?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on this charge. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you can step up.
Hey, good morning, ma'am. Can you state your name for me? Leah Webb. All right, Miss Webb, you have one charge. That's a theft of services misdemeanor. That bond amount is $2,000. That comes with a special condition that you cannot return to the Waffle House at 6375 Jonesboro Road in Morrow while you're out on bond, okay? Do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Oh my God.
No, or?
Schedule the preliminary hearing?
Yeah, what's the?
The preliminary hearing is to determine if there's probable cause in your case. If you post bond and are released before then that hearing's just automatically canceled. Or if you plan on bonding out and you want us to go ahead and transfer your case to state court right away so that they can schedule your arraignment hearing, which is where you would enter a plea, then you can waive the hearing this morning. So it's just up to you if you want us to schedule it or if you want to waive it. So if you're not sure, let's just go ahead and put you on the calendar for September the 26th. And then if you post bond, it's just automatically canceled as you bond out. Okay. All right. So we'll put you on the calendar for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I understand you are not currently working. Do you have any other income?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on this charge. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll be the first guy. Come around.
All right. So, deputies, were the males able to hear my introduction earlier?
Yes, sir. They all heard me.
Everybody heard it? Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. And also, deputies, I would like to save, there's a defendant I would like to save to the end, Morrell. Yeah, defendant Morrell until the very end.
You want to say Morrell at the end?
To the end, correct. Okay. All right, sir. Can you state your name for me?
Demarius Hurd.
You say it one more time?
Demarius Hurd.
Amen, Mayor.
Demarius Hurd. Okay, gotcha. Give me just a second. I got my paperwork out of order.
And there's not even called that bump down there, one person tonight. That's something.
First.
What time to listen to this shit? We gotta move on. Okay, here we go. This guy's be so ready.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you state your name for me?
My name Anthony Harrison.
You say it one more time?
My name Anthony Harrison.
Anthony Harrison. Okay. Mr. Harrison, you have got 3 charges. These are all misdemeanors. The first charge is criminal trespass. That bond amount is $1,500. The second charge is providing false information to law enforcement. That bond is $1,500. The third charge is obstruction or hindering of law enforcement. That bond is $2,000. So when we add all 3 of those bonds up, your total bond this morning is $5,000. That's going to come with special conditions here that while out on bond, you are to stay away from and have no contact with the alleged victim, Zarada Irby, and not to return to the address at 4735 D5 Courtney Drive in Forest Park. I understand that is a residence that you share with Miss Irby, and so you can schedule an appointment with the sheriff's office within the first 10 days of your release, and they'll give you a date and time that you can go to the property, get what personal items you need while this bond condition is in place, and not violate your bond at that time. Okay, but you got to schedule that within the first 10 days of your release. These are misdemeanors. Would you like me to schedule a preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
No, on schedule.
Schedule. All right, we'll schedule you for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
I represent myself.
All right. You don't plan on hiring your own attorney?
I represent myself, sir.
All right. You're going to go up against trained
You fucking
trained
kidding.
lawyers? You ready to do that?
And dumb officers.
All right. I'm going to put you're going to represent yourself. Thank you, sir.
What's that?
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you state your name for me? All right, Mr. Henderson, you have got 7 charges. All 7 charges are theft by deception. 6 of them are being charged as a misdemeanor. 1 is being charged as a felony. The theft by deception misdemeanors typically have a $2,000 bond on each charge. I've looked at your criminal record. I know there's no indication you've ever been in any trouble at all. And what I'm going to do is knock these bonds down a little bit to make it more reasonable for you. I'm going to do a $500 bond on each misdemeanor charge. The one that is being charged as a felony, we're going to list a $1,000 bond. So what that will do is get your total bond this morning down to $4,000. Okay. That comes with a special condition that while you're out on bond, you are not to return to this location, which is 2034 Mount Zion Road. I believe it's Home Depot. There. I've scheduled a preliminary hearing for you for September the 25th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And would you like to apply for a public defender to represent you on these charges?
I'm gonna get a lawyer.
Okay, your family's going to hire a private attorney for you? Okay. All right. I will note that on the form. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, give me just a moment, sir.
He better hope his mama loves him. Oh boy. Can you imagine? Fucking imagine.
All right, sir. Can you state your name for me?
Nicholas Gibson.
Okay, give me just a second. Nicholas Kipsang?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Kipsang, you have got 1 charge. That is criminal trespass. That bond amount is $2,500. I note here that you were just arrested for criminal trespass in the same location at the airport just a week ago. But your bond is going to be $2,500. You're not to return to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport unless you're in possession of a valid ticket for travel that same day. You understand that? You're not to go back there? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to apply for a public defender to represent you? Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own attorney? Okay. Would you like to see if an attorney would be able to give you advice on your case without any charge? It would be a free attorney. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any sort of income? Okay. All right. I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney at no cost to give you some advice. Okay. So I'm going to put the order in appointing somebody to do that. All right. Your preliminary hearing, I can't remember if I told you, your preliminary hearing is going to be September the 25th. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Give me just a second here.
Hey, where they go? I don't know where they go.
Oh, she can took. You take 3. You take 3. No,
And deputies, just an FYI, that microphone is picking up all the conversations. Back
You can hear all y'all.
All right. Okay, sir, can you state your full name for me?
It's Harris Lancaster.
All right, Mr. Lancaster, you have one charge. That is possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. That bond amount's $1,000. Do you want me to schedule a preliminary hearing, which would be September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
I don't understand what you just said.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing would be scheduled for September the 26th. If you want to waive that hearing, you can do that this morning, and we would transfer your file to state court so they can schedule their hearing, which would be the arraignment hearing where you would plead guilty or not guilty. But if you want us to leave you on the calendar for September the 26th, that would just be canceled automatically if you post bond later today or anytime before the 26th. So it's just up to you if you want us to go ahead and leave you on the calendar for September the 26th, or if you want to just waive the hearing.
Yes, you can do that, but can I ask,
You want us to schedule it or waive it? Schedule? Okay.
Well, may I ask something before
I tell you what, let me get through the rest of this paperwork and then I'll let you ask a question, okay? So I just don't want to miss anything in your paperwork. Hang on just a moment. Did you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
Yes, and I want to say no because it, like I said, it was small amount.
I don't want to hear about your case. You don't want to hear about the case. You record it. Everything is recorded.
All right, let me ask you again. Do you want to apply for a public defender to represent you?
No.
Do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
No.
You plan on representing yourself?
Yes.
Okay, you understand you're going to be going up against lawyers with years of courtroom experience. And if you qualify for a public defender, you would be able to have an attorney there to advise you at no cost to you. Do you want to see if you qualify for a public defender?
No, that's why I wanted to.
They muted it?
Okay.
I think they muted
If you have a question, let me hear the question here.
I wanted to say I don't need a lawyer because I'm guilty. I know.
Well, all right. You
can't say it.
You understand it's recorded. I told everybody at the beginning, anything you say can be used against you. So I'm just going to indicate here you're representing yourself unless you tell me you want a public defender. Okay.
No, I would not like. I'm representing.
All right, you're representing yourself. All right, thank you, sir.
Whoa! Hold on. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I don't know that I've ever seen a bond hearing devolve so fucking fast. Oh my God. Oh, I was rendered a bit speechless there. Holy shit. I'm also not used to having the microphone on while I'm not touching it. I'm testing out the new thing with the headphones.
There to advise you at no cost to you. Do you want to see if you qualify for a public defender?
No, that's why I wanted to.
Okay. If you have a question, let me hear the question here.
I wanted to say I don't need a lawyer because I'm guilty. I know.
Well, all right. You
can't say it.
You understand it's recorded. I told everybody at the beginning, anything you say can be used against you. So I'm just going to indicate here you're representing yourself unless you tell me you want a public defender. Okay.
No, I would not like. I'm representing.
All right, you're representing yourself. All right, thank you, sir.
And if something else I would have asked and don't have nothing to do with my case after that.
Well, if it doesn't have anything to do with the case, then it doesn't have anything to do with court today. So, all right. Thank you, sir.
You know you're going to Mr. Lancaster?
Yeah, but I'm not.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you state your name for me?
Garces Lanier.
All right, Mr. Lanier, you have got 4 charges. These are all misdemeanor offenses. The first charge is criminal trespass. That bond amount is $1,500. The second charge is simple battery. That bond amount is $2,500. The next 2 charges are obstruction of law enforcement charges. We're going to list a bond amount of $1,000 on each of those. So that grand total would come to $6,000 this morning. Okay. That comes with a special condition that while out on bond, you are to stay away from and have no contact with the alleged victim, Vernica Hatcher. And my understanding is that you and Miss Hatcher live in the same household. That means, but was she, I didn't quite understand. Is Miss Hatcher living at the 223 Spring Drive address right now?
No, sir.
Okay, that's what the warrant kind of suggested. She was leaving the property. So, okay. So the bond condition is just going to be you have to stay away from Miss Hatcher. If Miss Hatcher happens to be still at that residence, then you couldn't be at the residence. And so I'll put a condition here that if Miss Hatcher's at the residence and you can't be there, then you can schedule an appointment with the sheriff's office within the first 10 days of your release, where they would give you a date and time that you could go to the property and get what personal items you need while this bond condition is in place. But if Miss Hatcher is not at the property, then there's nothing barring you from being at the property. Okay, because that's the way I understood that she was leaving, in the process of leaving. Okay. The preliminary hearing would be held September the 26th. Do you want me to schedule that, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Yes, sir.
Schedule?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll schedule you for September the 26th at 8:30 a.m. Just a second here.
Hey, Judge.
Yes, sir. Do you have a question?
Yeah, anyway, I can get a lower bond amount.
No, sir. I've knocked these down as low as I reasonably can here. The total comes to 6,000. I cut that obstruction charge in half since they charged you with 2 of those. Knocked those down to 1,000 each. Would you like to apply for a public defender to represent you?
No, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to indicate here you're hiring your own attorney. All right. Thank you, sir.
Are you fucking shitting me? Where y'all people get money for lawyers? You're out of control. What the fuck is this kid doing here?
All right. Good morning. Can you state your name for me, sir?
David Padilla.
All right, Mr. Padilla, you have got one charge. You've probably already been told the bond. This has a pre-assigned one. To driving on a suspended or revoked license, that bond amounts to $1,500. It's a misdemeanor. Would you like me to schedule a preliminary hearing for September the 26th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Can we waive that here?
You want to waive it?
No, never mind. Can I schedule it?
Schedule? Okay. All right, we'll schedule you for September the 26th. If you post a bond between now and then that hearing's just automatically canceled or waived at that point. Okay.
I think it was already paid for. I did a
Okay. You're in the process of bonding out.
Yeah, they paid for it like around midnight or
Okay. Okay. So you'll probably be bonding out later this afternoon then. Do you want to apply for a court-appointed attorney to represent you, or a public defender?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Bravo, bravo.
Okay, based on your income level, you do not qualify for a.
Nobody qualifies in this fucking court.
So if you want an attorney to represent you on this
making enough
charge,
money
you'll
for
have to
that.
hire your own attorney. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
No, I have questions. I've seen Judge Nagel go up to $6,000 a month plus and give people an attorney. How much is he making? Where is he making it? I have questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jesus.
All right. Give me just a moment, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Can't even sit down because who the fuck is this?
All right. Can you state your name for me?
Scooby-Doo.
Chesley Shelnut.
All right, Mr. Shelnut. You have got one charge. That is violation of a family violence order.
Yes.
That's being charged as a misdemeanor. That bond amount is going to be $5,000. That comes with the condition that you have to stay away from and have no contact with Ashley Reynolds. I note you're already on probation for an aggravated stalking charge back in 2022 involving the same victim here. But do you want me to schedule your preliminary hearing, or do you want to waive that preliminary hearing?
Once you schedule, I have a question for you.
All right. You want to schedule for September the 26th?
Yes, sir. And I wanna
Oh,
see.
hang on just a second. Let's get through this paperwork and then I'll let you ask a question, okay?
Okay.
What's his
All right.
question
And do
going to be,
you want
guys?
to apply?
What do you guys think his question's going to be? Let me know in the chat what you think Keanu Reeves fallen on hard times question is going to be. Seriously, you guys are hilarious. Is this the new John Wick movie? Yes. Yes, it is. And it's fucked up. He gets stuck in the penal system and he can't get out. And they won't give him a bond for some reason because he's in Fulton County and Clayton County. So he's not even allowed to stop to tie his shoe. It's fucking fucked up, the whole movie.
Apply for a public defender to represent you on this charge?
Yes.
All right. Give me just a second here. I see you are not currently working. Do you have any sort of income?
I'm homeless.
All right. I'm going to find that you do
That is not an
qualify
answer.
for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning, appointing somebody to represent you on this charge. Okay, go ahead with the question, sir.
Is there any, because I do have paperwork. We both have paperwork stating that we're allowed to be around each other. It's non-violent contact. So I was going to ask if maybe you could give me an OR bond because I can't be in here.
Okay, we can't get into the specifics of your case today. What you need to do is talk to your attorney about that. All right. They may be able to work something out.
So I got a bond though?
5,000. Yeah, 5,000 is your bond. Okay.
Okay, and September 26th is my court date.
Yes, sir. September 26th.
Nah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Hi.
Not intake.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you state your name for me?
Oh.
Hang on just a second. James Sullivan. All right. Mr. Sullivan, you have got one charge. That's theft by shoplifting. That is being charged as a felony due to the amount at issue. That bond is going to be $2,500. That comes with a special condition that while out on bond, you are not to return to Duty Free America on Concourse E at the airport. I've scheduled a preliminary hearing for you for September the 25th at 8:30 a.m. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And would you like to apply for a public defender to represent you?
Yeah, sure. And also, I got a speedy trial because I can't leave. So.
Okay. All right. Hang on just a second here. So you are not currently working. Do you have any other type of income?
No.
No
He
income?
got stuck
Okay.
in duty
All
free,
right, I'm going to
Judge.
find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and I will put the order in this morning, appointing somebody to represent you on this charge. And as far as like a speedy trial request, you'll have to talk to your attorney about that. Okay.
I got to talk about.
All right. Thank you, sir.
He does have arms. Can confirm he does.
Or would you like to do the?
Yeah.
Fugitive. Oh, yes. Okay, guys. Great news. Oh, exciting. We've got a fugitive coming up. Remember, we're in Georgia, which means we get to pick where did this fugitive come from? Oh. Oh, Alabama. I'm feeling Alabama today. Alabama is my choice. Illinois, I see in the chat now. Put your guess in the chat where this fugitive came from. We're not even going to look at them. We have to guess willy-nilly. Where is it? Okay, Tennessee, Michigan. Is it Harrison Ford? I don't know. Seriously, you guys. Texas from Jody. Arkansas, Georgia. Can't be Georgia, Vicky. I'm going to give you a hint. Can't be Georgia because we're in Georgia and they can't extradite to Georgia from Georgia. Doesn't quite work like that. Under a bridge from Crystal. Okay, Crystal, that will probably qualify for a lot of places. You're probably finding a bit of a loophole. I like it. Chicago, that weird Matt guy says, but we're already talking Illinois, so yeah, we can guess that. Or mom's basement. That's a de facto yes, Kristen. A de facto yes. Florida, Vicky, what a great reminder. Here's a good reminder. Take your meds. It's a med check. Before we get on with this, we are almost 2.5 hours in. We are 2.5 hours into our stream tonight. Take your meds. If you don't take meds, come and tell us what that's like. Clock in for your shift by liking the video. Resolve yourself to comment on a video later. Remind yourself that I'm going to Florida at the end of this month to a meetup, a YouTube meetup, y'all. And then I'm going to Harry Potter World. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to get sorted into a house. And y'all think I'm going to go into Hufflepuff, and I don't think that's going to happen. But we don't know. Okay. Jay from Michigan saying Earth. Safe bet. Safe bet. That is a pretty safe bet. Okay. Let us go ahead and continue watching this. I'm not a Slytherin. T-Rex. Do you think I am? William, how am I living such a full, rich life? By choice. By choice.
Yeah, I'll take the fugitives first.
All right, let's get the fugitives out.
All right.
Go for them at one time. That's fine.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We'll do both fugitives first.
Okay, so you got.
Fugitives, both of y'all stand right here, put your hands behind your back.
Yes, sir.
Which way do you got?
All right, gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing today, because all of the rights and everything I described earlier apply to you, but your appearance here this morning is a little different than everybody else that we've had, because you do not have charges pending here in Clayton County.
Oh, we got 2 up on deck, you guys. Everybody can add another guess into the chat. Now you can add another guess where these boys will be extradited to. Finally, we know that's what happens. Also, I love that you think on the outside I'm a Hufflepuff, deep down Slytherin. Ah! Oh my God. Only the Sorting Hat knows. I have to travel to Florida. Somebody tell me they have a place for me to sit under that Sorting Hat, right? I haven't looked into that. I've just assumed.
County, you were picked up because you have a warrant from another jurisdiction, from another state. And I'll tell you, I'll give each of you information when I talk to you individually here in just a moment about where that warrant is and what state is looking to extradite you. But I want to give you some information here, because I'm going to ask you in a few moments about what choice you want to make as far as whether you want to contest the extradition. And that is where you sort of take the legal stance that the other state does not have the right to come and pick you up to bring you back to that state and face those charges. Or if you want to waive the extradition process, which means you're agreeing that they can you're voluntarily agreeing that they can come and pick you up and bring you back to face the charge. Let me give you some information on that choice that you have to make. First of all, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be represented it can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. If you are desiring to contest the legality of this extradition proceeding, then you must file or have filed on your behalf a writ of habeas corpus. You would be allowed a reasonable amount of time to file a writ of habeas corpus. A writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 different issues. The first is whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second is whether you are charged with a crime that is actually a crime in the state that is seeking you. The third is whether you are in fact the person named in the request for the extradition from that state. And the fourth is whether you are in fact a fugitive. You cannot contest the issue of whether you are guilty or innocent of whatever charge you are facing in that state while you are here in Georgia. You can only do that in that state. And this is the part you're really going to want to know about making a decision here. If you elect to waive the extradition process and agree that they can come and pick you up, then the state who is seeking you will have 30 days to come here to Clayton County and pick you up. If they have not picked you up within that 30 days, then you'll be released. Okay. The other option is if you are choosing to contest the legality of the extradition and contesting extradition, if that state is unable to come and get you within the 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days at that point to allow the completion of the extradition process.
It's like Disney magic. It's like if you spend 30 days here, automatically you qualify to spend an additional 60 days. But those 60 days don't begin until your 30 days have commenced plus Disney dollars. Something like that. I don't know.
So really, that contesting the extradition sort of gives 90 days for the state to complete the process and to come and pick you up. So let me talk to you each individually. Let's see, Mr. Sackett, wave your hand and confirm. Okay, Mr. Sackett. All right.
They both waved. Plus I did.
So, Mr. Sackett, your paperwork here indicates that you're being sought out of Dawson County, Montana. I think you're the first person I've seen being sought by Montana. That's a long way away. But it looks like the charge is, it just says conditional release violation there. They have indicated that they will extradite you. Would you like to waive the extradition process, or do you want to contest the extradition? Waive. Okay. I'm going to indicate here that you're waiving the extradition process, and the deputies there will have an extradition waiver form for you to sign. I think you'll have to sign it 6 or 7 times. They'll send all those to me, and then I'll sign them this morning. And then
that sounds like a deal for me. Yes, I'm sure you'll have to sign the form 6 or 7 times in order to satisfy me once.
and Montana will have 30 days to come pick you up. Okay. And that should take care of everything on your case today. Thank you. And then Mr. Willis. All right, Mr. Willis, your paperwork indicates that you're being sought out of Hillsborough County, Florida. Is that Tampa? Hillsborough County? Hillsborough. Okay. So you're being sought out of Hillsborough County, Florida. The charge there is violation of probation. Do you want to waive the extradition process, or do you want to contest the extradition?
Waive, but I have a question.
All right. Let me go ahead and just fill out the form here that you're waiving before, and I'll get your question here in just a second. I just don't want to mess the paperwork up here.
It's all the same paper, just some way say the thing.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir. You can ask a question.
The charge I have is legal now. So how does that work?
So there's nothing we can do about the charge. In order to, fight the charge itself, you have to be in that jurisdiction. Because we don't know, all we know is it's a violation of probation. That's all we've been told, and that they have issued a warrant out of Hillsborough County. So really, to fight that charge, you have to get to Hillsborough County because they have all the information, and that's where the procedure would take place.
Hurricane KCC does not arrive in Florida until the end of the month, but it does arrive in Florida at the end of this month, y'all. Shit.
Thank you both. I think that'll take care of everything on y'all's cases today.
You can get unsigned, you can go back.
And let's see, deputies, I think I've got Mr. Morrell left.
Yeah, give us one.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Let's make some space for him and let's take him.
30 days. Yeah, 30 days. Hold up. No, we went on his guy. We're gonna put him inside over here. Put him into it so we get his calculated paperwork.
I don't remember what Montana City they said. What is going on?
Step around here. Oh, you don't have this. Open
Also, we're finding a karaoke place that we can stream so we can all hang out together and laugh at me singing in an appropriate setting.
All right, sir. Can you state your name for me? All right, Mr. Morrell, you have got 5 charges. Do you know what the charges are, or would you like me to read them out loud?
Yes, sir. I know what the charges are.
Okay. All right. So 3 of these charges I have considered, but am denying bond on today. Those are the felony non-drug charges. Okay. On the drug charge of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, that is being charged as a felony, but I can go ahead and list a bond amount of $7,500. And then you have an obstruction of law enforcement officer charge. That's a misdemeanor. We can go ahead and list a bond amount of $4,000 on that one. But the other 3 charges, there will be no bond this morning on those. I have scheduled a preliminary hearing for you that will take place on September the 25th at 8:30 in the morning. Those hearings are held over the computer, just like this one. And would you like a public defender to represent you on these charges?
May I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
If I were to consider a public defender, am I still able to get my own lawyer?
Yes, sir. If you qualify for a public defender and I appoint one, but if you decide later or your family decides later they're going to hire a private attorney to represent you, they can swap out very easily.
Yes, sir. I would love to have a public defender.
Okay. All right. I've reviewed your application and I found that you do qualify for a public defender. So I will put an order in this morning appointing somebody to represent you on these charges. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I know this is just magistrate court and we're not supposed to talk about the evidence of the case or anything. May I ask why the bond is being denied for those charges?
Based on the allegations, but which we're really not getting into, but based on those charges and allegations involving the age of the victim. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, Judge, that'll be all for today.
I think that's every.
Always sure to end on a fucking sad note. No, just kidding. Sort of. It's a little fucked up. Why the fuck is that happening? Anyways, you guys, listen. Hold on. Live scene. Me big. One day I'll be like Willy Wonka and I will allow somebody to come and hang out in my studio with me. And you'll be able to see I'm not joking. Like I label things stupidly like that. Like live scene, me big. What's the other one called? There's another one. Can't remember. Anyways, listen. Guys, I can't do the headphones the whole time. I don't know why my brain's like, you're not getting input from around the house. You need that. Listen, I hope that which Willy Wonka? Quite obviously the one before Johnny Depp. Is it Gene Wilder? I was too young to know their names, but you know, the classic. Classic. Okay. Guys, tomorrow is Labor Day. That means it's a holiday in a lot of places. Like I said, no court in the Credence and Mikey realm tomorrow, but they are doing a chase at 405 East. I will be live tomorrow evening. And we will be going from there. Like I said, I am a hundy P going ahead and I'm going to Florida. There's no question about it. Like that trip is 100% on. So I will be talking about it a lot and planning different things that we're going to be doing down there. I will be live streaming a lot from Florida because I want to bring you guys with me. I think it'll be fun. So be prepared for some vlog / live streams that don't always have court in them. You don't have to hang out, but you can if you want. You know, that weird Matt guy, to me, first of all, labor is spelt wrong. You guys are missing a U in all the words, which is weird, but that's fine. You know, hasn't Florida suffered enough, William? No, I don't think it has. Hurricane KCC. No, I don't even want to call a hurricane upon anybody, but I am very excited to go to Universal. I'm very excited to go to the meetup. I am very excited to do many things. So, on that note, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. Make sure that you've subbed to the new channel, liked the video, and gone ahead, maybe make a comment. I know it seems silly afterwards, but like Jonathan did it last night. Replay crew, appreciate it, Jonathan. Super helpful. Don't worry, I'm not going to dip off the map here, guys. I will be working the entire time I'm gone. That's how come I get to call it a work trip. Woo! Anyways, and seriously, we're going to be doing a lot of fun things between now and then. I have a lot of stuff planned. So remember that I love you. I am proud of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. No more bets and no more bets. No more bets, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening. I love you all.